Biblical authors and those quoted in the scriptures, some 78 times, tell us it is written. This is among the most significant phrases in all the Old and New Testaments. It is written, because it is followed by a direct quote, a citation from Scripture written beforehand. It is written. And it is stated as authoritative, as something permanent, as something relevant, and one thing we must listen to. It is written. In the New Testament language, gegreptai, it means it stands as having been written and therefore forever relevant. Forever relevant. Forever preserved. As the scripture says, God has spoken. The word of the Lord came to me, saying, it is written. When God speaks, it is relevant, and we need to listen to what he has to say. And it is a significant phrase because it reminds us that God not only has spoken, but he has preserved his word. My name is Michael Chandler, and I'm pastor of the Victor Valley Bible Church in Victorville, California. And I'd like to welcome you to this Bible on Our Day broadcast on the subject of people of the preserved book. Are you a person of the book? Are you a person of the Bible? Are you a Bible-believing person? If so, you're among the people of the preserved book. Since the 7th century, Jews and Christians alike have been referred to as people of the book. This designation originates from references found in the Islamic holy book, the Quran. Well, I was proud to wear this brand while viewing the Dead Sea Scrolls exhibit at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley. Elias Cusito, who serves as Director General of the Israel Antiquities Authority, or IAA, identifies these as, quote, he says, the most significant archaeological discovery of modern times. This view is supported by Risa Levitt-Kahn, Assistant Professor in the Religious Studies Department at San Diego State University, California, along with Navit Popovich-Geller and Dr. Joe Utziel, also of the IAA. They emphasize the Bible's far-reaching influence, stating, quote, reaching beyond religious circles, these sources have swayed philosophers, molded leaders, affected institutions of higher learning as well as courts and seats of government, and have shaped our society's precepts of morality and justice as they have for over 2,000 years and across the world's continents. Well, the day after Christmas, my wife, son, daughter-in-law, and I went to see the scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Reagan Library was packed with visitors, all of whom wished to gaze at the archaeological treasures. We got there shortly after the library opened around 10 o'clock in the morning, and as we were finishing up our afternoon, I got in line to buy some things at the gift store, and there was in front of me a gentleman from Missouri. And he said he got there about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but by the time he got there, he said the Dead Sea Scrolls exhibit was closed. In other words, there were so many people going in to see the exhibit that they couldn't have any more folks in line to wait the necessary time to allow them to come on in. It was packed. The museum was full. But my question is, what raises such interest in 2,000-year-old artifacts? Several insights come to mind, and I'd like to share these with you. Why are the Dead Sea Scrolls so interesting? Why do so many people want to see them? This exhibit at the Reagan Museum was going to be there, it's going to be there, I should say, till about 2025 in September. September 2025, I should say. Well, at that point, they'll be shipped, put back in their boxes and so forth, and one of the docents told me after they're reboxed and sent off, they'll be taken to Chicago. And the docent told me under armed guard. What's the big deal? The Dead Sea Scrolls. Well, let me share with you some ideas that come to my mind that I think you'll be very encouraged to learn of. In late 1946, early 1947, Bedouin teenagers were tending their sheep and goats near the ancient settlement of Qumran, located on the northwest shore of the Dead Sea, now known as the West Bank. Going after a wayward goat, one of the young shepherds came across a cave. Tossing a rock into an opening on the side of a cliff, he was surprised to hear a shattering sound. Entering the cave, he and his companions found a collection of large clay jars, 7 of which contained leather and papyrus scrolls. After word of the discovery got out, well, that cave, as well as the surrounding caves, yielded 15,000 fragments, representing the remains of 800 to 900 original manuscripts. Except for the book of Esther, the Dead Sea Scrolls represent every book of the Old Testament. Skeptics, have long argued that since the biblical text has been copied and recopied over the centuries, it's impossible to know with certainty what the biblical authors originally wrote or meant. And yet the Dead Sea Scrolls, dating to about 1,000 years before the long relied upon Masoretic texts of the Old Testament, contain no direct challenges to the principal doctrines of Scripture. In other words, the essential wording and meaning of our modern-day Old Testament match that used by Jews before and during the time of Jesus. Psalm 119, 160 says, quote, "The entirety of your word is truth, and every one of your righteous judgments endures forever." Here's food for thought. Think of it. A shepherd found copies of the Bible made in the days of the great shepherd of the sheep, Jesus Christ. Now, this discovery also reinforces our faith in God, who is working out his plan to keep and restore the nation of Israel. Those scrolls were first discovered near the end of World War II, the conflict that claimed, millions of Jewish lives, but ultimately led to the establishment of the Jewish state in Israel. On May 14, 1948, U.S. President Harry Truman became the first world leader to officially recognize Israel as the nation state and sovereign homeland for the Jewish people. According to the Bible, God promised to preserve his word, something of which the Dead Sea Scrolls testify. And he also promised to preserve the Jewish nation. Indeed, the covenant-keeping God, Yahweh himself, declared through his servant Jeremiah that if the sun, moon, and stars cease to be, then the seed of Israel, he said, shall also cease from being a nation before me forever. He continues saying, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel. You can read these words in Jeremiah 31, 35 through 37. Plain as day. God said, I will preserve the nation of Israel. The Jewish Bible recovered at the same time as their nation was restored. Man, what a testimony that is to the faithfulness of God. He will keep his promises. Every single one of them. He has preserved his word, and he will preserve his people. Now then, with just such a God and just such a preserved literary heritage, does it not make sense to read the Bible? Whereas much of the globe does not enjoy free access to the Scriptures, 88% of American households own a Bible. Do they read it? Do you read it? Its words are confirmed by archaeological discoveries, and the faithfulness of the divine author to whom the Bible is attributed is verified by world events, as well as the transformed lives of those who have trusted its message. Friend, let me encourage you to take the Bible reading challenge. 3 chapters a day through 2025 will bring you through Genesis all the way through the book of Revelation. The user-friendly Blue Letter Bible app, let me remind you again, the Blue Letter Bible, that's what it's called, Blue Letter Bible app, has other helpful Bible reading plans. Check it out. They got a lot of great resources. And I invite you to join me and others who cherish the preserved book and read the Bible. God be with you. Let me encourage you to hide away in your heart the words of Psalm 12, which I think aptly speak to us in this connection. Psalm 12, verses 6 through 7. Actually, quite a number of the Psalms were found intact in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Check it out, Dead Sea Scrolls. Psalm 12, verses 6 through 7. The words of the Lord are pure words, like silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. You shall keep them, O Lord. You shall preserve them from this generation forever. Psalm 12, 6 through 7. I'll include in this broadcast a link to the Reagan Library exhibit of the Dead Sea Scrolls for your reference. I'm Michael Chandler, pastor of Victor Valley Bible Church, located at 16439 Hughes Road in Victorville. Our services are held at 10:15 in the morning and live streamed on YouTube every Sunday, starting at about 11 o'clock. For more information, please visit our website at www.victorvalleybiblecchurch.com, or if you wish to email, our email address is bibletrom@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and may God bless you as you live out the Bible in 2025.